Hello and welcome back to the channel. We will be looking at this 2011 Chevrolet Impala 9C1, which is the code for the Police Interceptor package. So let's take a closer look here at the vehicle. It looks very much like the normal civilian Chevy Impala from this era, but one of the distinguishing factors that you can see, even from a distance, is that the wheels are all steel wheels, and they also have a specific center cap, which is bolted on there. Let's take a closer look. There's some rust on the steel wheels. They're 16-inch. And then another distinguishing factor is that the brake calipers up front have two pistons. You can't really tell here, but the brake pads are also wider. The brake discs are larger than their regular Impala, but I think in the back there's no real difference. It's just the same like a regular Impala. Again, you can see the center cap that is fixed in place by 3 nuts. Single piston caliper and dual piston caliper up front. Another distinguishing factor with the police package is when you open up the door. On this particular one, you have the switch on the door that is disabled, so the light on the interior don't turn on. Here you probably had a bull bar which has been removed, but you can still see where those were fixed. And this one actually made some contact with a deer. That's why you see the front fender is a little bit messed up. All right, that's about it for the exterior. If you also look at the code, you would have suspension codes, and it would say something like front right suspension, front left suspension, picked by computer. So I think all what that means is the suspension package on these trims are very particular, and they're set, by the computer. The worker doesn't have to look at any particular trim for the civilian level, if it's an LT, LTZ, limited, or whatever. All right, on the roof you can see where you had the openings for antennas and other mission specific gear. And here on this bolster, this A-pillar, you would see where the light, the exterior light was, the searchlight, and of course that has been removed. If we take a look at the key fob, it's very typical, just like any Impala of this era. You have the lock, unlock, and then you also have the trunk open button. There's also a red panic button on the remote. Let's take a look inside. So the interior looks pretty much like the civilian version of the Chevy Impala. I have a lock box in the center console. And up on the roof, you can see there's that dome light. And when I switch it on, it's exceptionally bright. Brighter than you would expect. I plan to change that to LED at some point. Standard features for the Impala, like you would expect. Nothing fancy. The dash would show that it has a calibrated speedometer. So let's turn it on so you guys can see. Certified speedometer, that's what it says. Single CD player. You got actual heat AC controls, column shifter, And here you have the light controls. The steering wheel is adjustable. It doesn't telescope, you just adjust the tilt. And on the door panel you have the lock, unlock, and then you also have the rear view mirror controls at the top, and then further down you have the window controls. The rear view mirror on these Impalas, they're very tiny, so it's kind of tricky taking a look behind. They're very small. And then here in the rear, let's take a look. You have the vinyl covered seat with a storage cubby right there, but that's aftermarket. That's just added after the fact. But that's what it looks like. Doesn't have too much leg room. And coming around, you have the gas tank right here. It is certified for E85. So you have the yellow cap. And here you have the flex fuel E85 certification. Okay, let's go ahead and pop the trunk. Press on the button. It is a very, very spacious trunk, I should say. Goes very far deep in there. And I think that's where we lost quite a bit of the leg room, because the trunk extends all the way to about here. So a very, very, very large trunk. And of course it's got the dual exhausts. The engine on this particular car is a 3.9 liter. I believe the Impalas for this same time period, they were powered by a 3.5 liter V6. So this is a 3.9 liter V6. And to confirm whether you have the police package or not, you just need to come back here, pull the carpeting, and boom, you can see right there towards the bottom where it says C1. That lasts but one roll. You'll see C1. You got a donut spare underneath. Oops, there's a donut spare underneath there. And that is about it for the exterior. Now let's take a look under the hood and see what the C9C1 has, which is the police version of the Chevy Impala. To open up the hood, you got the catch right there. Pull on that. Let's release the catch. The hood is supported by a strut over there, single strut. Looks a little bit dusty, but you can see the badging. It says 3.9 V6. Very spacious. Gives you room to walk on the motor in case you have to change anything. And I believe one other change is that this has a more powerful alternator and battery. So those are two additional upgrades. Furthermore, for the police specific equipment, you can see that those bunch of relays right there. On the normal Impala, I believe those are not present. So this is what it looks like under the hood of the Chevy Impala 9C1, which is the police version. Thanks for watching. Catch you guys on the next one.